E aí pessoal, tudo bem? Aqui é o Sandro Padial do canal Padial Jiu-Jitsu e hoje eu trago para vocês um vídeo excepcional, a história do encontro do mestre George Gracie com Bob Anderson, um atleta americano, um wrestler americano de alto gabarito. E aí ele conta, vocês vão ver que a história é formidável, que ele veio ao Brasil, estava esperando um comitê aí da luta olímpica brasileira, e depois aí chega o Hollis e o Carson, né? E, bom, ficam no Rio de Janeiro, viram amigos, mostra um pouco do contexto do Brasil, do Rio de Janeiro antigo, né? Conta a história deles indo ao jogo de futebol, a trajetória bem atípica, né? Coisas do Brasil que pode tudo, né? Dando com o carro em cima da calçada. E, pô, é uma história fabulosa. E o mais legal disso, mostra essa busca da família Gracie, né? E do Hollis pela inovação, pelo extra, né? Pelo mais do que o jiu-jitsu. Mostra a personalidade dele, porque, pô, se mostra no final do vídeo, vocês vão ver que o Bob Anderson fica extremamente comovido, assim, emocionado, né? Então, um sinal de que eles viraram grandes amigos, né? Após ele ter passado esse período curto aí no Brasil, convidou o mestre aí aos Estados Unidos. Bom, a história está toda contada aí, não preciso contar para vocês. O pessoal que fez essa gravação e essa edição, os americanos, me concederam, tá aqui o crédito do canal deles aqui embaixo, entendeu? Muito obrigado por conceder esse material para a gente disponibilizar aqui no nosso público. Toda a matéria que vem agora a seguir está com legenda, então vocês podem, lógico que está em inglês, mas vocês podem aí, aqueles que não entendem o inglês, ler a legenda e desfrutar essa grande história. Isso aí, eu acho que é um dos melhores vídeos que relata aí o mestre George Gracie. Desfrutem, grande abraço, valeu.
My name is Bob Anderson, and I'm a national champion wrestler in all three styles, Greco, freestyle, and Sambo. And I was an Olympic coach, Pan American Games coach, and World Cup coach. I had my surfboard with me because I heard there was good surf and everything. And I'm trying to get through customs and I can't get out because I don't have anybody to pick me up. I don't have any place to go. And I'm waiting for this governing body leader from wrestling to show up and pick me up. 2 hours pass and nobody comes. Got picked up by Carlson and Hollis Gracie. Said that they were the governing body representatives for wrestling, which they weren't. Actually, I think they had a rift between each other. And so I went with them. And I said, what took you guys so long? He said, well, we had some other things, training to do, and so that's why. And I said, okay. Then I went on and stayed there at his house, and then he'd get me up and we'd go to practice, but I'm coming in and I've done Sambo. I was a Pan American Games champion in that. And so he had guys with long pants and jackets on. It looked like judo. And so I thought that was kind of strange, but I said, well, maybe they do both and they're trying to learn wrestling. After about 3 days, I'm going, these guys are always wearing jackets. How come they don't get into wrestling attire? He says, well, we do both. We do jiu-jitsu and we want to get trained well enough so that we can make the Pan American Games team and do well. And I said, okay, that makes sense. I mean, I was sent down there by the governing body of the FILA to help develop wrestling in that country. He was kind of like a Renaissance guy, I think. He would take things from different sports and apply them into his jiu-jitsu, which I thought was very good. There's a lot of jiu-jitsu guys just only jiu-jitsu stuff and they don't break out of that. He did. Well, some people don't realize that the Americana was really named after me, and that American wrestlers up into the 50s in college had submission wrestling. And when I was training in 1968 going to LAY, these old guys would come up to me and ask me if I'd roll around with them, and just out of respect, because, you know, they're older guys. And so anyway, one of them did a key lock on me, and then another one did something else and was hurting me. And I said, that's not legal, is it? He says, it used to be, Sonny. So when I went to Brazil, I remembered the key lock and how to make it painful. And we adjusted it a little bit. And I taught the Gracies that one time, because Hollis actually asked me to show, if the guy did this, what would you do? And he was always brainstorming, and we came up with the key lock and bringing it in. It became the Americana, named after the American wrestler that came down and showed them techniques. We joked around and had fun. His wife, Angela, I'd always tease him like athletes tease each other. I said, well, I don't know if you could be a wrestler. You know, you're kind of small to be a wrestler. And I'd say stuff like that in front of her, and she'd get so upset that I didn't respect him, because he was, at the time, and I didn't know it, the toughest guy in Brazil. He had actually, they showed me a picture, a video of, not a video, a Super 8 camera shot of him and his 10 students going against this guy and his 10 students in karate and then jiu-jitsu, and how all of his students submitted every one of the karate guys, and then he went against this guy really buffed, about 6'1", 240 pounds, and submitted him in about 30 seconds. So just to prove that jiu-jitsu was better than karate. And so that was pretty impressive to me. We went to a soccer game. He wanted to go really bad. And I remember him, we were late because he got off work late because he was a cop too. And so we're driving down the sidewalk in Brazil, and lucky there was hardly anybody on the street, but we're driving down the sidewalk, getting past all these cars that are going to this big soccer match. And then finally he pulls onto the freeway, and then he parks the car right in the off-ramp to get there, and we walk down. He goes behind the gate, flashes his badge, talks to these guys, and the place is completely full, but they let us in. And we ended up watching the game sitting on the stairways of the soccer thing. I'll never forget that. That was quite a trip with him. We became friends really within about a few days. I really liked the guy, his personality, his attitude of openness to learn technique, and he was just a super guy. Just a few days before I was ready to leave, Hollis decided that he wanted to have a match. We had a match. We started off, and we had jackets on, and we fought for 30 minutes. But the problem was, I wanted to start on my feet. And he said, no way. He said, I'm starting down here, you get on top of me in the guard. And I go, what? The guard? He says, yeah, that's the first I ever seen it. So, get on top of him, and I think I'm gonna just, you know, wrestler thinks he's dominant in the top position. Well, I soon learned that wasn't the case. But we fought, and we fought, and we fought for position, for arms, for chokes, for arm bars, for figure fours, and we fought each other until I was just sweating and really hot. And so I said, wait a minute, let's just stop this right now. I said, and take off these jackets and fight like real men without a jacket, referring to wrestling. So then I did. So he said, okay, no problem. And I said, I stood up there and he goes, no, get back into the guard, get on top. So I got back into the guard and we went at least another 25 minutes. Finally he caught me in a heel hook and, had it pretty tight. So I just tapped out and it was a good move. But I was a little disappointed I got caught in it. So I talked to him before I was leaving. I said, why don't you come up to California? Visit me at my house, bring your wife and your son Igor. And there's Pan American Games. Let me see if I can get you in the Pan American Games in Sambo. It's along with the World Championship in Greco and freestyle. Called me back up, said he's coming. Came up, picked him up, stayed at her house for a while. We went down to San Diego. We tuned up at a national YMCA championship, which he submitted everybody. I won. And then we went into the Pan American Games. I had to really talk some people into letting him in because he didn't have the official paperwork, but he got in and he won it and he looked great. And that was, I think, the first really show of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in America. That medal's right here. We had a problem with the governing body. They were fighting for control, and we couldn't get the medals for a while. And then he passed away, sadly, in a hand gliding accident. And so I couldn't get it to him. Then I lost contact with his family, and here it is. This is the medal. It's got his name on it. He's the champion. And I'd really like to get it to his family, his son Igor or something, have a little small presentation and honor the man. He was not only a great innovator, but it was a great loss to Jiu-Jitsu when George Gracie passed away on that hand glider. It was terrible. I lost all heart. I just went back into wrestling.